yeah, freaking big boy bike.
This is Steffen and I'm with Jaryn. We're both with Berkshire Bike and Board, and today we're going to be talking about the Levo and the Levo SL. Before the end of this video, we want to go over what we like best and how each bike handles. We want to go over the climbing characteristics, the cornering and the descending. We want to see which is the most fun bike to ride and to own. Our perspectives will be a little bit different. I'm an old school mountain biker, been mountain biking for years, way before suspension was even an adopted thing. I'm way more into the details, the finer points of the bicycle, whereas my compatriot here, he's a little bit less into the finer details, and I'll let Jaryn take it from here.
All right, what up y'all? It's Jaryn from Berkshire Bike and Board. Steffen dragged my sorry ass out here to review a couple of mountain bikes I can't afford. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the bike I'm gonna take my first lap on. This is a Specialized Levo. Basically, he cares a lot about the technical details of things. I, for one, could give a shit about 12 speeds and 7 shifters. One thing I do know how to do is ride a bike. It's gonna be fun today to put both of these bikes through their paces and kind of give a non-biased opinion on what bike I like better. I will say, as far as electric bikes are concerned, there's one thing that's important to me, and that's integration. And the thing that Specialized does do really well is design and aesthetics are super clean. All the cables are internal. There's not a motor and a battery hanging off everywhere. And for me, that's the thing I do kind of care about. And as far as I'm concerned, this is the best looking e-bike on the market.
So I'm going to go over some of the finer details of what I'm going to be riding on the first lap. What I have here is the Levo SL Carbon Expert. It is Specialized newest rig, 2020 model, tipping the scales in the bank account department at just over 9K. It's running the brand new motor, which now has a max output of 240 watts and a pared down battery of 320 watt hours. And that basically makes the bike significantly lighter. This thing, as it sits, tips the scale at 39 pounds. It also has traditional mountain bike components on it. It has regular Fox 34 factory fork versus a e-bike specific rhythm on the Levo. It has a 12-speed drivetrain versus a 11-speed e-bike specific on the regular Levo. So it's gonna ride definitely different. I'm excited to see how it goes. It does have 20mm shorter chain stays. I'm excited to see how that translates into the woods. But other than that, the geometry is pretty similar. Now, let's go out and take these things for a rip.
They sound like little RC cars. Before riding the SL, I'm gonna say that if I'm riding an electric bike, I want the juice. Give me the gas, baby. So, again, my hat is off to the Levo. Just fast, man. Steffen is not happy on that Levo SL. He's keeping his mouth shut, but his tongue's hanging out. Woohoo! Oh God!
Well, that was fun. We just got back from lap 1, shredding. I rode the SL, Jaryn rode this, and now we're gonna swap. Check them out. Just because Jaryn's not so detail oriented, I'm just gonna run through some of the details about this bike. This is a 2019 Levo Comp Carbon. retails for just under 7K. This happens to have the 500 watt-hour battery, but this is definitely pushing a much bigger motor. So this is pushing 565 peak watts. Basically what that means is it's pushing out 90 Newton meters of torque, and basically what all these fancy numbers and big numbers sound like is it basically just gives you a lot more power. I can barely pedal this thing. I can soft pedal it when I'm in turbo, and it's giving me full torque. I can be in a high gear and be turning a low cadence, and it's still gonna help me out. Whereas the SL, you have to ride it like a mountain bike, and that's definitely more how it rides. We'll give our full review after I do a full rip on this thing, and Jaryn rides the SL, and we'll be back for our final review. See you in a bit.
Are you going fast right now?
Yes, I'm going fast. What do you mean? That's why we're riding bikes, you weirdo. Rolling. All right, so we just got back from doing our 2 laps. I just finished my lap on the Levo, and it's a blast. This bike is definitely a lot of fun. There's a huge difference between these 2 bikes. The power that this thing delivers is pretty amazing. Climbing this thing, you barely have to work. When you're in turbo, it just goes. It will climb things that should not be climbable. If my body position is right and I can maintain traction, I'm climbing things that should not be climbable. And for that, it makes it a lot of fun. This bike literally goes uphill so well, it's pretty amazing. Descending, this bike descends like a downhill bike. Because of the weight, because of the weight being so low and centered, it just plows. It goes directly through stuff. It rides like a downhill bike. And that's where we come to its biggest weakness, cornering. Getting this bike to transition from side to side, you feel it. You gotta muscle it to get it to turn. But once you do, you can do it. But it requires some upper body, some fitness, some finesse to do it. Whereas with the Levo SL, that's where that bike really shone. Yes, it's definitely down in the power, and I have to work harder for the climbs, but everywhere else it was pretty phenomenal. The cruising single track, the thing has just enough power to hammer, and I could keep up with this thing. On the long, steeper climbs, Jaryn could definitely ride away from me, and vice versa, I could ride away from Jaryn when I was on this thing. And I was definitely working harder. Yeah, both bikes were amazing. It's really hard to choose. Ultimately, if you could buy both, that would definitely be the best way to go. One bike for shuttle runs, for just banging out laps, for just trying to have as much fun as you can, banging out up and downs. Whereas the SL is definitely the better trail bike.
As much as I'd love to say this is a life I live, that's more of a life I live. So as far as conclusions, I'm taking the Levo. Give me the power, give me the ponies.
Well, that's our final take. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss our next video. For Steffen and Jaryn, we're signing out. Peace.